Hello and welcome. My name is Bill Benton, and I'll be your instructor for our next class, Film Thesis 4, Film Assembly. Our time together will be a continuation of what you've been working on last month with Rob, and that's post-production. This month, we'll be concentrating mainly on the audio portion of post-production, but we'll dig into that in a minute. Let me tell you a little bit about myself, where I've come from, and where I'm coming from. While attending college in Santa Monica, heading towards a psychology and philosophy major, one of the many jobs I got was at a record store. The owner of the store wanted a diverse and knowledgeable staff, so he hired people with a wide variety of tastes. That got me exposed to and interested in a lot of genres that I otherwise might not have. A friend of mine from the shop had gotten a job at a recording studio, and one day he gave me a call that there was an opening for a gopher and I should get over there and snag it. This was the beginning of a long and varied relationship with the world of sound that I had no idea would become a lifelong love and passion. The studio was called the Record Plant. It was, on the surface, a 24-hour-a-day, 7 days a week rock and roll party palace. Well, that's what it was for the clients. I soon learned that you had to be on your game, dedicated and on call 24/7. It was an unbelievable place to work, learn, and gain experience with an incredible staff, famous clients, and state-of-the-art cutting-edge technology. It was a place that molded my work ethic and taught me that when it comes to creativity, there's no rules. Not only were there multiple recording and mixing studios, they also had 3 remote recording trucks that would do live broadcasts or hook up with the band on tour for a live album recording. I ended up spending 2 years of my time there working on those trucks, traveling and recording all kinds of artists, shows, and eventually we got involved in the film business. I had no clue what happened on a set, a location, or anything at all with the movie business. We were hired to record Neil Diamond and his band for all the performance scenes on his remake of The Jazz Singer. It was my first experience with a medium that included elements that were related to, but not exclusively, sound or music. It was a whole new ballgame. After finishing off that film, my boss decided he liked being in the movie business and he jumped in with both feet. The boss decided we needed an experienced sound engineer, so enter a man named Dan Wallen, who became a mentor and teacher to me over the next few years. We four-walled a soundstage on the Paramount lot and spent 6 months constructing and converting it into a world-class scoring stage. Film scoring is the recording process for usually orchestral scores. After working in the rock and roll side of things for many years, recording a full orchestra, sometimes 70 to 90 musicians at a time, was a real eye-opener. That eventually led me to a gig as an assistant engineer on the scoring stage at MGM Studios. A year or so into that job, they approached me about moving to one of their television dub stages as a re-recording mixer. I had no idea what that was, but definitely wanted to check it out. Anything in front of a mixing console, I was up for. I got the job, and a new chapter unfolded. Looking back, I had some very patient and talented mentors who took me on and taught me a lot. I spent a couple of years doing episodic TV, which is a great training ground. We do a 1-hour show a day, and you do that 5 to 7 days a week, and you get some miles under your belt. I moved into feature films and eventually went the independent route. I had the chance to work at most of the major studios in Los Angeles, Sony, 20th Century Fox, Universal among them, as well as a number of great independent recording and post-production houses throughout my career. My wife's family lived here in Florida, and we came back to help them out with a few things. A couple months turned into a year, and before we knew it, we were living here. Who knew? A friend put me in contact with someone here at Full Sail, and it was right when this master's program was starting up. Next thing I knew, I was a teacher, and here I am with you now. I've told you about all these twists and turns I've taken because I want to encourage you to do the same. When a door opens, walk through it, even if, especially if, you don't know what's on the other side. The more diverse your experience as a filmmaker and as a human, the more valuable you'll be to yourself and to others. So make bold moves. Now, back to what's up for you and me this coming month. You are on a track to work in the production side of this business. That being said, any of you headed towards directing, producing, having your own independent company, or making product on a budget, you'll need to know about post-audio. You may not know how to do it, but you sure need to know how to talk to someone who does. Our time will be a combination of lecture time, where we'll go over all the elements and their subgroups that contribute to a soundtrack, and lab time as well. We'll spend about 4 days on the dub stage, where we'll mix a selected thesis project in the 5.1 surround sound format. We'll also spend some time in class utilizing the Pro Tools software you received in your lunchbox. Make sure your license is activated and you have your iLock USB key. This is also in your lunchbox. Sound for any project, be it narrative, television, music video, or documentary, is one of the key elements to bring your audience into the world that you want to create. As there are no visuals attached to sound, you can pretty much do whatever you want. So envision the world that you want to build and present, and think creatively and emotionally. I know most of you have had a little experience with post-production audio, but remember, ask anything, anytime. There are no dumb questions. I'm still learning myself from you and everyone I come into contact with. Thanks for your time, and I hope you enjoy the class.